Welcome back, V.O.C. YouTube channel. The NFL has returned. The baby Jesus has fallen onto us from the heavens. We got college football last weekend. Now the NFL is back this Thursday. Look, Christmas came early. We all just got a big, super great fucking birthday present that we've ever gotten before. It is back. Football is fully back this week. NFL, college, talking NFL today. A lot of intriguing storylines. Could this be the best NFL teams as a whole in the NFL history? I don't know. We'll talk about it. We'll get into it right now. Like I said, intro is chaotic, usual. I don't know what the hell's going on, usual. Like I said, though, could this year be the greatest collection as a whole of NFL teams? You look at every quarterback in the NFL. Majority of the quarterbacks in the NFL are very good quarterbacks. They get better and better. And it's crazy to think that after this year, there's going to be 4 or 5 of them where we go, they're not very good. And then we bring in another crop of 4 or 5 young quarterbacks. But I think the NFL is getting to a point where there's a lot more parity. It's not like the other sports where there's a great divide and from the best to the worst. I think in the NFL and the way it's kind of set up, that middle of the pack teams can be better than the other sports, middle of the pack teams. You still have your bad teams and your really good teams, but you have other teams that have chances and have an opportunity to win, unlike in other sports. All right, so for this video, kind of going to break down what I think every division looks like. The NFC, the AFC, who I think's in the playoffs, who I think's going to make the Super Bowl, who I think's going to win the Super Bowl. And then I'm going to go through who I think wins the season awards, players, coach. And then I'm going to go through my games this week, pick those. Starting off, AFC North. Fucking got an itch. AFC North. I think this is probably, other than the AFC West, I think this is the closest, toughest division that there is. On the AFC side, it's a very good division. It's very deep. Simply to start out, though, I think the Ravens are going to win it at 10-7. I really like the Ravens and how they drafted. I thought they had maybe the best draft when it came to the first round. And not only just the first round, but, the compile of drafts. I think they did very well. I think they got better. Lamar Jackson is in a contract year. He's got something to prove. Healthy. I think their team is finally healthy. So I really, really like the Ravens at 10-7 to win. And then moving on to the Steelers at 2 at 9-8. Bengals at 3, 9-8. And then the Browns 7-10. Look, the Steelers, Mike Tomlin's a great coach. They still have a really good defense. It's quarterback-wise, I don't fully trust. Look, I know all about Mitchell Trubisky. He's named the starter. We'll see how that goes. They have Kenny Pickett, Kyle Rudolph. I just don't trust the quarterbacks. But I do think Mike Tomlin's a good enough coach, and their defense is good enough to get them to 9-8. The Bengals sitting there at 9-8. People go, oh my God, they made the Super Bowl last year. They were so good. They are good. But I think they're going to take a step back this year with a tougher division. AFC's better. I think that they're still going to be really good. But I think they take a step back, and they don't quite repeat what they did last year. And then the Browns, I think that Deshaun Watson not playing is a big hurt to them. If he was starting, I could maybe see the Browns winning this division, making the playoffs. But without him until I think it's week 14 or whatever it is, I just don't see it happening. 7-10. All right, moving on to the AFC East now. Look, I think this is a division that we saw the Patriots dominate for 23 years with Tom as their quarterback. Now it's starting to be the Bills start to dominate it. You get some new blood, though, in Miami. The Jets, they feel a little bit better, but they're not quite there yet, in my opinion. So I think who wins the AFC East, I think it's easy. I think the Bills at 13-4. The best team, you can make an argument in the NFL. Not saying it, I'm just saying you can make an argument they're the best team. You can make an argument they have the best quarterback. They have a very good coach. I think they're much improved from last year. I think that this is the year for the Bills to really take a major step forward and prove that they are a powerhouse. Now, their schedule's tough, but you get to that schedule, I think they can win a lot of games and really make a run at the Super Bowl. At 2, I think the Dolphins at 9-8. New coach, new playmakers. Tyreek Hill comes over. Tua, look, if they had Tom Brady like they thought they'd have, if they had Josh Allen, if they had just a better quarterback, the Dolphins would probably easily win this division. It's about Tua. I think Tua's going to be better than people expect, but he's still not fully there for them to dominate, even for them to make the playoffs. And then the Patriots, I think, at 8-9. I think they're going to take a step back. Look, I believe in Bill and what he's done the last 20-some years, but who's calling plays on offense, defense? It's Mongo, Jongo. Mac Jones is a good quarterback. He had a good rookie year. But who are the playmakers around him? I don't fully trust them. I think Bill's got a little wacky in his older age, trying to do stuff that other teams aren't doing to think it's going to work. So I don't feel it. And then the Jets, I think they'll be a little bit better, but 6-11. Still some growing pains. Fully not there yet. Next year could be the year they make the league. All right, moving on to the AFC West, which I think this is the most competitive division in football. I have the Chiefs at 1 at 13-4. Look, it's the Chiefs. I know the division got better. I know they lost Tyreek Hill, but I think their defense got better. I think the offense got a little bit more, balanced to where people don't know exactly who's going to get the ball all the time. They got a more even level of playmakers. Travis Kelce's still there. Patrick Mahomes is still there. But their offensive line is very good. They still have playmakers. They got, instead of just having one great wide receiver and one great tight end, they got one great tight end and plethora of good wide receivers. I think Juju Smith-Schuster is going to have a big year. I think Valdez-Scantling is going to have a big year for them. I think you're going to see a lot of people have big years for the Chiefs and not just have a focus on just, all right, it's Tyreek Hill, it's Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. Until they are beat in the AFC West by these other teams, they're still top dog in my opinion. But right behind them at 12-5, I do have the Chargers. I think the Chargers are maybe the most improved team in the NFL, especially on the defensive side of the ball. You get J.C. Jackson. You get Khalil Mack. It feels better. Brandon Staley had an up and down first year as a head coach, especially the last game of the year, with some play decisions and play calling and just time clock minute, just some decisions. I think he gets that out of his system. I think Justin Herbert continues to grow. Their offense is still very good. So I think they're right there at 2. And then at 3, I think the Broncos are 9-8, and then I think the Raiders are 9-8 as well. The Broncos get Russ, but with a tough division, a tough AFC, I think they take a step up, but they're not quite there yet. I think they might need another year, maybe figure out the defense a little bit more, and to figure out the offensive line. Don't fully trust that. Russ has never really had a good offensive line, so he knows how to manage with a bad offensive line, but I think they take a step up from where they have been the past couple years. They have their quarterback. They just signed him to a new deal, but it's going to take some time. 9-8, and then the Raiders at 9-8 as well. Look, Josh McDaniels, new coach. They get Devontae Adams. Their offense is going to be explosive. Darren Waller, Derek Carr. It's going to be very good. Defense, much improved. Chandler Jones, better than what they were last year, just not quite there with the division. And then to round out the AFC South, look, I think the Colts at 12-5 win this division. I think they're the best team in the division. They have the better defense in the division. I cannot talk today. This is rough. Colts have the best defense. You can make an argument nowadays they have the best running back. And you can make an argument, who do you want more as your quarterback? Matt Ryan, Ryan Tannehill. So I think the Colts win it. I think Frank Wright and the Colts have been there. They've been treading water. Last year I said, they have their quarterback now, boo, boo, boo. But I think Matt Ryan's not going to make as many dumb decisions as Carson Wentz did last year. So therefore, I like the Colts at 12-5. Then I like the Titans at 10-7. Ryan Tannehill's getting a little bit older. Struggled in the playoffs. Does that carry over? They draft Malik Willis. Derrick Henry comes back healthy, but getting older too as a running back. Their defense has had some injuries already. How good can they be? I think they take a step back from when they were the number 1 seed. And then, both these teams are going to be better too, Colts and Titans, because of who they play in the division. I think the Jags with Doug Peterson as their coach will be better than what Urban was. They'll have more stability. Trevor Lawrence will play better, but they're still going to be 5-12 in my opinion. And then the Texans, they're setting up Lovie Smith to fail, and I think they're going to be absolutely atrocious, and I think they're going to be 1-16. So that rounds up the AFC. Now moving on to the NFC. I think it's, last year the top of the NFC was better than the top of the AFC. This year I think it's going to be harder to make that call, in my opinion. In the NFC North, I think it's the Packers at 12-5. Look, I know they don't have Devontae Adams. I know they don't have this. They still have Aaron Rodgers. Their defense is still very good. The division is god-awful. And look, they have 2 running backs, so you don't have to just rely on one. The offensive line gets better. Injuries, Bakhtiari comes back. They're better than people think, in my opinion. And the Devontae Adams, trade departure will hurt them, but not as much as people think. So I still think that they're 1. 2, the Vikings, I think they're better with Kevin O'Connell as their coach. They're going to throw it a little bit more, get it out to their playmakers. Dalvin Cook's I think their offense is going to be better. Defense is kind of the question, but with a weak division, I think 9-8 is easy for them to get to. And then the Lions at 3, which is not really surprising. I think a lot of people are high on the Lions this year. I think they'll be 6-11, much improved from the year before. Jared Goff, those are I'm not going to sit here and be the guy that goes, oh my God, Lions are 9-8, 8-9. They're going to be so much better. Look, 6-11. The division, they could maybe get a slip up from a team here or there. Better, but still not there. They still need their quarterback, and they're still building the right pieces. But I think Dan Campbell's the right guy, and I think the Lions are slowly building into a very good football team. And crazy to think, a very good organization. And then 4, look, I'm a Bears fan. We suck. 4-13. It could be worse than that. This is being generous. Not going to be very good. I do like Justin Fields. Believe he's the future. But other than that, what the hell else do we have? So they're going to be 4-13. It's going to be a struggle to watch. But hey, I'm a fan. I'll watch. NFC East. I don't think a team's won the NFC East back-to-back years in like 20 years or whatever it's been. I'm really high in the Eagles like everybody else is. Do I think Jalen Hurts has his limitations? Yes. But A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, I think that they're very good offensively. Nick Sirianni, everybody laughed at him as a coach. I did as well. He's pretty damn good. They were better last year than people thought. They made the playoffs. This year, I think they win the division at 11-6. I think the division is very winnable. The Cowboys, I think, take a step back from last year. It's kind of the Eagles. They're veteran. They have a very good defense. I think they're going to be very good. At 2 for the NFC East, I look at the Cowboys at 10-7. Look, you know what the Cowboys are. That's the problem with the Cowboys. We know what they are before the season even starts. They're going to disappoint. They're going to do some dumb stuff. They're not going to be as good as we think they are. But 10-7, I think, is right where they're going to be with a division that's easier. Some of these divisions in the NFC are easier to win. Now, the top might be better for the teams-wise, but we could also look at that and say their divisions are weaker, so their records could be better. And then at 3-4, look, I think it's a toss-up between Commanders and the Giants. I have the Commanders, when I did my prediction thing, 6-11, the Giants 5-12. Ron Rivera may be fired. Carson Wentz, to me, just isn't the guy. The Giants, Brian Daboll's in his first year. They have a lot of turnover. Daniel Jones is not the guy either. He might be a little bit better, but I don't think it's going to result to wins. Moving on to the NFC West. This is probably the best division in the NFC. It is the best division out, probably. I have the defending champs, Los Angeles Rams, at 13-4. I think they're still really good. I mean, what hole do they have? Maybe running back, offensive line. But other than that, they are solid. They got better. Bobby Wagner, Aaron Donald comes back. They get Allen Robinson, who's going to have a big bounce back year. Matthew Stafford's in his second year in the shop. They're better than what they were last year, in my opinion. And then at 2, I'm taking a little stretch here with the Trey Lance thing. I believe in Kyle Shanahan as a coach. I think he's arguably one of the best coaches in the league. I've almost said maybe the best coach, but he's that good of a coach. So if he believes in Trey Lance, in his skill set, I do too. I have the 49ers at 12-5. Their defense is good. They have offensive weapons. With the skill set that Trey Lance has, I think they can be very dynamic, and they're going to be fun to watch. And then at 3, I have the Cardinals at 8-9. Look, Cliff Kingsbury, pretty face. Kyler Murray gets the big deal, does all this stuff. What are the Cardinals? They had some key, I think, losses. You know, they don't get DeAndre Hopkins until, I think, week 6. Week 6 or week 7, suspension. So I think they're going to struggle a little bit. I think Hollywood Brown with the first-round pick was kind of a stretch. So I just have the Cardinals at 8-9. Still not completely sold on Cliff Kingsbury. And then at 4, look, I think the Seahawks without Russ, rebuilding clearly, 3-14. Geno Smith, Drew Lock, whichever one you pick, it's not very good to me. That's just my opinion there. Rounding out the NFC West. Now rounding out the NFC South. I think when I look at the NFC South, I think it's a very easy winnable division. I have the Bucks at 13-4. I almost said 3-14. 13-4. Tom comes back. Dogs are barking again. Tom comes back. New face and all. Who cares? Had some struggles, I think, family-wise. He's going to fight through it. Still very talented. Get a new coach, Todd Bowles. These dogs. I think this is his last go-around, and I think he shows it. I think he shoves it up everybody's ass. I think he dominates this year. And then at 2, I have the Saints. Look, Jameis comes back. Jameis is going to do something stupid every once in a while. I think they're a good team. Their defense is really good. I don't think they're fully there. I think they're at 8-9. And then Panthers, Falcons. This is like a toss-up again, like the NFC East. Whichever one you want to choose. Look, Baker's going to be better for the Panthers than Darnold, but I don't like Matt Rule. I don't fully believe in, so I have them at 5-12. Falcons at 4. Look, they need a quarterback. They don't have as much talent. I think they'll be 4-13. They're rebuilding. They have better pieces. You know, they got some playmakers on the outside now, but look, not having Calvin Ridley because he likes to gamble a little bit, that's going to hurt. Marcus Mariota, we've seen what Marcus Mariota is. Could he be a little bit dynamic for him? Clearly over Matt Ryan, but that's just where I'm at with it when I look at the NFC. All right. Boom. NFC, AFC. I need some water. My throat is hounding. You have to drink a gallon of water. I drink out of a gallon water jug. I drink a minimum gallon of water a day. You got to be healthy. You got to stay hydrated. I piss 20 times a day, but it doesn't matter because that's just how I do things. Moving on to the AFC, NFC. This is the playoffs after doing my predictions here. So in the AFC playoffs, I have the Chiefs at the 1 seed, Bills at 2, Colts at 3, Ravens at 4, Chargers at 5, Titans at 6, and Broncos at 7. Not Browns. They didn't make the playoffs. Almost went a little. This mind's not working today, right? I had a job interview today, so I was really focused on that. So I used like all my brain knowledge, I think, for that job interview. And now I get home and it's like mush. Like I'm like, it's like trying to lump mashed potatoes. It's like there's nothing there. All right, now to the NFC playoffs. Rams 1, Bucks 2, Packers 3, Eagles 4, 49ers 5, Cowboys 6, Vikings 7. Boom. That's what I think. That's how I think. That's who I think makes the playoffs. Really no surprises. Rams with the bye. You know, when you look at the NFC, I think, 6 of the teams made it to the playoffs last year. When I look at the AFC, 3 of them didn't make the playoffs. 4 of them didn't make the playoffs. Which happens, you know, you have different teams, but look, that's just what I think. All right, now moving on to who I think each round of the playoffs. So round 1 for the AFC, Chargers at Ravens. I think the Chargers win that game. Titans at Colts. I think the Colts win that game. Broncos at Bills. I think the Browns win that game. I think the Chargers are better than the Ravens. I think the Colts are better than the Titans, and I think the Bills are better than the Broncos. Plain and simple. NFC round 1. 49ers at Eagles. I have the 49ers. I just think by the time they get there, I think they're going to be better. They're one of those teams that kind of builds towards to the end. I think they'll figure things out. I think they'll be better. Cowboys at Packers. I think the Packers win. At the end of the day, Packers are better than the Cowboys. I trust Matt LaFleur way more than I trust Mike McCarthy. And I trust Aaron Rodgers way more than I trust Dak. Vikings at Bucks. Bucks. Plain and simple. Tom, better than Kirk. It's just better. I think you're going to see from these picks, I think Tom's on a warpath this year. AFC round 2. Colts at Bills. Bills. Plain and simple. Chargers at Chiefs. Chargers. I really like Chargers. I think they have defensive pieces. I don't know. I just have a feeling deep down inside my tummy here that the Chargers are going to beat the Chiefs and they're going to move on to the AFC Championship game. I really like the Chiefs this year, but I don't think they move on. I think the Chargers get them in the playoffs. That's just what I think. I think that people kind of figured out the Chiefs a little bit. This year, towards the beginning of the year, it's going to be hard to figure them out because you don't know who's getting the ball. But I think towards the season, I just like the Chargers. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and justify my decisions. I like the goddamn Chargers. I just do. So that's what I'm going to go with. NFC round 2, Packers at Bucks. This is easy. Bucks. I don't trust Aaron Rodgers. The guy should be in jail over the COVID things. So why am I going to let a convicted felon just win these games? Over Tom? Are you kidding me? Not going to happen. 49ers at Rams. Rams had their number last year in the playoffs. Rams will have their number again this year in the playoffs. That's just what I think is going to happen. All right, AFC title game. Chargers at Bills. You're going to sit here and say after I say this pick, Caleb, but you really like this team. You felt it in your tummy. I'm going to go with the Bills. I think the Bills make it to the Super Bowl. People are going to talk about, oh, their schedule last year was easy. They blah, 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 blah. I trust Josh Allen. You could have made an argument. They get the ball against the Chiefs last year. They might win that game still. I just like the Bills. I think they finally have the pieces figured out. I just like them. I just do. I'm not going to sit here and justify my fucking picks to people. Christ. NFC title game. Bucks at Rams. This one's not hard. Bucks. I think the Bucks make the Super Bowl. Tom, in my opinion, is his last year. He's pissed off at the NFL and all their tactics. He wanted to go to the Dolphins. He's having problems personally. He's like, you know what? I'm going to put my blinders on. Won last year at 45. Said I was going to play to that. And I'm going to have him on my shirt. If you don't know, I'm the biggest Tom Brady fan of all time. We're going to ride it to the Super Bowl. Not saying all this because he's on my fantasy football team, but we're going to ride it till the death. Bucks, Bills, Super Bowl. I'm going with the goddamn Buccaneers. I think Tom goes out with the crystal sunset. He's going to be holding that trophy. He's going to look amazing doing it. And he's going to say, hey, look at what all you guys have done. You did this. You did this. Look what I did. I won 2 in Tampa. I have 8 all time. Name another quarterback to do that. He's going to be like, no one's ever going to touch it. I have twice as many as the next closest guy. That's just what I think. Plain and simple. Bing, bo, bango. Buccaneers win the Super Bowl. They play the Bills in the Super Bowl. That's what I think. All right, now moving on to who I think is going to win the season awards. MVP, I think Patrick Mahomes wins it. Like I said, I think that last year was a down year for him, and I think he's going to come out and say, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to dominate. MVP, Patrick Mahomes. Offensive Player of the Year, I talked about it a little bit. New coach for the Vikings, comes from the Rams. Look at what Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford did last year. I think Justin Jefferson wins Offensive Player of the Year because I think he is going to have a monster year receiving. Defensive Player of the Year, now I'm all on the Trey Lance hype train because I believe in Kyle Shanahan, but I think defense will be a big reason for the 49ers winning as many games as I think they will. So I'm going to go with Nick Bosa. I think he is probably the most underrated defensive player in the league. His throat doesn't get a lot of talk mainstream-wise, but he's a gritty guy. I think he's going to come back, and I think he's going to dominate. Offensive Rookie of the Year. This one was kind of tough because is Kenny Pickett going to play? Do you pick him? You know, I'm just going to go Drake London, wide receiver for the Falcons. I just think he's going to get a lot of targets, and I think he's going to have a good year, where it's going to be like at the end of the day, it's going to be like, we have to give it to him. And then Defensive Rookie of the Year, people are going to shit on me for saying this, but Kyle Hamilton with the Ravens. I think the Ravens are going to be better. I think they're going to win the division. So I think Kyle Hamilton's going to have a major year to steal the draft. And I think he's going to show how great he really is. People are going to be like, oh, Hutchinson, deep. What? Kyle Hamilton should have been a top 5 pick. He's going to prove that this year. Defensive Player of the Year. Coach of the Year, Brandon Staley, Chargers. I think he's going to improve from what he did last year. The team's going to be much better. And I think he, with the improved team, improved defense, is going to show just how good of a coach he is. And I think he's going to win Coach of the Year for those feats. All right. Moving on to picks for this week. That's the preview. This is picks this week. First game Thursday. Bills at Rams. Bills are minus 2.5. But Rams are at home. Super Bowl champs. Getting the banner shown. I'm going Rams here. You're going to give me a home dog to start the year? I'm going Rams. But Caleb, you picked the Bills to make the Super Bowl. Week 1 and Super Bowl week are different. I like the Rams. This is just an easy bet to me. Steelers at Bengals. Bengals minus 6.5. I like the Bengals here. 6.5 is a big, big margin though. But I like the Bengals. Pats at Dolphins. Minus 3.5 for the Dolphins. New coach for the Dolphins. Belichick. What's he going to have drawn up? I'm going to go Pats here. Week 1. I think Belichick has his team ready. And I think he just shows some things to the rookie coach down there in Miami. Like, oh man, I'm Bill Belichick. This is what I can do. I don't trust the offense fully, but I think Bill has a nice plan. Browns at Panthers. Panthers are minus 1.5. This is easy. Hammer Panthers to me. Hammer it. Baker's playing against his former team. He said like he wants to kick their ass or he said something like he's gonna fuck them up or something. And then he goes, yeah, but I didn't say it. No, Baker, if you said it, and I believe you said it because you're the type of person to say it. Say it. I think he's gonna dominate week 1. Chiefs at Cardinals, minus 6.5 Chiefs. Going Chiefs here. Patrick Mahomes. Chiefs. Andy Reid. Chiefs. Raiders at Chargers. Chargers minus 3-point favorite. I'm going Chargers here. For all the reasons I said, I feel it in my tummy this year. I feel the Chargers. Bucks at Cowboys. Minus 2.5 for the Bucks. I'm going Bucks here. The Cowboys are the Cowboys, right? You know what they are before they show up. I think the Bucks come out with Todd Bowles from the bad taste in their mouth last year. They fought to the death in the playoff game against the Rams. I think they come out firing this year. And I think they prove, like, look, we won the Super Bowl 2 years ago, and we're going to win it again this year. Packers at Vikings. Packers minus 1.5. I like the Packers here. I just think the Packers are better than people think. Even though they got rid, like Devontae Adams didn't make their team. Yeah, he made a big part of their offense, but he didn't make their team. Aaron Jones can receive it. A.J. Dillon can run it. I trust regular season Aaron Rodgers, even though he should be in prison. I trust him. That's just where I'm at with it. Those are my picks. I just like the Packers this week when I look at the Vikings. Okay. Fucking got pencil. So yeah, look, I'm excited for the NFL. We had our fantasy draft with our league. I dominated the draft. It said after I drafted, I was going to win the league, which, no surprise, I'm going to win the title. If I don't, it's going to be embarrassing. So it should be an easy. I should go undefeated, pretty much is what I'm thinking. So I'll show you whatever I win from that, clearly at the end of the year. But like I said, NFL's back. Excited. My brain's mush. It's all over the place. It's how it always is. I'm excited for it. I think this is going to be a fun year. I think a lot of things are going to happen. I think it's going to be very compelling. Like I said, I think a lot of the teams are very good compared to years past. And I think it's just going to make for an overall fun. Fucking NFL's crazy anyways. I think it's going to be even wilder this year. So yeah, that's going to do it for the video. Like I said, I don't know what days I'm going to be making these videos, but making them. Posting on TikTok, YouTube short. I'm trying to go viral one good time. Like It's bound to happen, I would hope. If not, all these platforms are holding me down for the type of person I am. If you want to do that, come at me, bro. That's today's video. Boom.